Welcome to my channel, Nogenix. In this video we discuss 10 of the worst prisons in the world. Number 10. Black Dolphin Prison, aka Penal Colony No. 6, is located near Russia's border with Kazakhstan. It's reserved for the country's most dangerous and violent convicted criminals, including serial killers, cannibals, pedophiles, and Chechen terrorists. It is named for the dolphin sculpture created by the inmates that sits on the grass at the front of the prison reception. Prisoners here are watched 24 hours a day via video surveillance, and guards make rounds every 15 minutes. Number 9. Kenya is notorious for tough conditions in its prisons, and Kamatai Maximum Security Prison, located in Roysambu constituency, is widely regarded as the worst. It was built in 1954 by the British and modeled after an old-style colonial system to house offenders during a state of emergency declared in October 1952. Kamatai still has its original gallows, though the last execution there was in 1987. It is notoriously overcrowded and the conditions are unsanitary. The prison's official capacity is 1,200, though reports suggest there are between 1,800 and 2,500 inmates crammed inside. Serious health conditions, including HIV and AIDS, gonorrhea, syphilis, tuberculosis, and dysentery, are rampant. Number 8. This prison complex in Indiana consists of maximum security, medium security, and low security units. Nicknamed Guantanamo North, Terre Haute is home to Boston bomber Dzhokhar Tsarnaev, who is on death row there. The United States federal government's execution chamber is located at Terre Haute. The ACLU accused Terre Haute in 2008 of having grossly inadequate conditions at its special confinement unit, where death row inmates are held. It accused the prison of denying the prisoners medical care and mental health services, and said they were subjected to so much noise that it caused them sleep deprivation. In January 2021, Terre Haute had the highest number of COVID-19 cases in the federal prison system, including inmates on death row. Number 7. The oldest prison in California, San Quentin, is notoriously known for its violence. It has been home to many infamous criminals, including Charles Manson, Scott Peterson, and Sirhan Sirhan, who assassinated Robert F. Kennedy. It had the only death row facility in the state for more than 700 death row inmates, the largest facility in the United States, and home to California's only gas chamber. But in early 2022, the state started the process of closing death row and relocating the inmates, 3 years after the California governor ended executions in the state. Number 6. Diyarbakir Prison was built in 1980 by the Ministry of Justice in Turkey, after the September 12, 1980, Turkish coup d'état. Diyarbakir became a martial law military prison where torture was a common tool for forced assimilation of the Kurds. A total of 650,000 people were detained after the September coup, and most were beaten or tortured. More than 500 died, many of those at Diyarbakir. Number 5. With a population roughly 3 times its capacity, Mendoza Prison in Argentina is severely overcrowded. As many as 5 inmates are crowded into cells that measure only 43 square feet per square meters, and many inmates are forced to sleep on the floor without mattresses. Prisoners had inadequate medical care and the prison lacked a proper sewage system, forcing inmates no other choice but to use plastic bags and bottles as their washrooms. Number 4. A 2012 scandal at Gani Prison, located in Tbilisi, Georgia, called international attention to the country's practice of prisoner torture at the hands of guards. Numerous abuses, including rape and assault, were revealed in video filmed by a 35-year-old former prison guard turned whistleblower. The videos sparked major protests across the country and inspired actual reform in how inmates there are treated. Though conditions in the country's prisons have improved in the past decade, Gani prison is in the spotlight once again as the site of protests sparked by the imprisonment of the country's former president, Mikhail Saakashvili. Number 3. Also known as ADX Florence, Florence ADX, Supermax, or the Alcatraz of the Rockies. This is the most maximum security prison in the United States. Built in 1994, this facility houses some of the world's most dangerous criminals, including Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, Ramzi Youssef, responsible for the 1993 World Trade Center bombing, and Zacarias Moussaoui, involved in the 9/11 attacks. Inmates at this facility spend 23 hours a day in solitary confinement in their 7 by 12 foot, 2 by 3, 6 meter, concrete cells. Windows are tiny and prisoners get their meals through small slots in the cell's metal doors. When prisoners are allowed out of their cells during the 1-hour recreation period, they wear several restraints and are escorted by multiple guards to a small outdoor cage. The prison was once described by former warden Robert Hood as a clean version of hell. Number 2. Near the middle of North Korea is a 60 square mile, 155 square kilometer, prison facility known both as Camp 14 and Kacheon. According to reports by the U.S. Department of State, Camp 14 was built in 1959 near the center of the country, about 40 miles, 64 kilometers, north of Pyongyang. Camp 14 is considered a political prisoner camp and can hold 15,000 prisoners. That means they are serving life sentences for being enemies of the state. Number 1. The most crowded prison in the world. Gitarama is home to more than 7,000 prisoners in a facility that was built to hold only 400. Most of the inmates are suspects of the Rwandan genocide that took place in 1994. Given the extreme overcrowding, the men and women housed here are forced to stand barefoot on the filthy ground for all hours of the day, causing their feet to rot. Many eventually require amputations, but with only one full-time doctor dedicated to the prison, most prisoners are unable to receive the treatment they need, resulting in half a dozen deaths each day. Thanks for watching this video. Please like this video and subscribe my channel.